Hello, this is Hyun Choi. I'm going to present Chapter 9 Information Systems and Supply Chain Management. So there are two learning objectives. First one is consider the flow of merchandise through a supply chain, and the next one is review the consideration and trends in the design of supply chain. This photo illustrates the merchandise flow steps for a large retailer. As you can see, the general merchandise flow steps are first, manufacturer to distribution centers, or second, manufacturer directly to stores. And if merchandise goes through distribution centers, it is then shipped to store. And then the customers can buy it. Making merchandise flow involves first deciding whether the merchandise will go from the manufacturer to a retailer's distribution center or directly onto store. Once in a distribution center, there are multiple activities take place before it is shipped to a store. As you can see this picture, manufacturers can ship merchandise to their distribution centers or retailers' store. Although manufacturers and retailers may collaborate, the ultimate decision is up to the retailer, and it depends on the characteristic of the merchandise and the nature of demand. And to determine which distribution system is better, retailers should consider the total cost associated with each alternative and these customer service criteria. There are several advantages to using a distribution center. First, accurate sales forecasts are possible. Second, distribution centers enable the retailer to carry less merchandise in the individual stores, which result in lower inventory investment system-wide. Third, merchandise is ordered from the distribution center as needed, so it is easier to avoid running out of stock or having too much stock in any particular store. And fourth, retail store space is much more expensive than distribution center, and distribution centers are better equipped than stores to prepare merchandise for sale, so that many retailers find it cost-effective to store merchandise and get it ready for sale at a distribution center rather than in individual stores. But distribution centers are not always appropriate for all retailers. If a retailer has only a few outlets, the expense of a distribution center is probably unwarranted. It means it will not be price effective. Also, such as perishable goods or latest products are more appropriate to direct store delivery to ensure that their products are on the store shelves, properly displayed, and fresh. The distribution performs the following activities. First, managing inbound transportation. In the past, buyers focused their effort on developing merchandise assortment, negotiating prices, and arranging joint promotions. But now, buyers and planners are much more involved in coordinating the physical flow of merchandise to store. Buyers are responsible for the purchase and profitability of merchandise, whereas planners are responsible for the financial planning and analysis of merchandise and its allocation to stores. Second, receiving and tracking using UPC or RFID. Receiving is the process of recording the receipt of merchandise as it arrives at the distribution center. Tracking is the process of going through the goods on the receipt to make sure they arrived undamaged and that the merchandise ordered was the merchandise received. In the past, tracking merchandise was a very labor-intensive and time-consuming process, but today, a UPC label or radio frequency identification tag on the shipping carton that identifies the carton's contents is scanned and automatically counted as it is being received and checked. Third, storing and cross-docking. After the merchandise is received and checked, it is either stored or cross-docked. Using a cross-dock distribution center, merchandise cartons are pre-packaged by the vendor for a specific store. The UPC or RFID label on the carton indicates the store to which it is to be sent. cross-docked merchandise is in the distribution center for only a few hours before it is shipped to the store. Merchandise sales rate and degree of perishability or fashionability typically determine whether cartons are cross-docked or stored. Fourth, getting merchandise floor ready. Floor ready merchandise is merchandise that is ready to be placed on the selling floor. Getting merchandise floor ready entails ticketing, marking, and in the case of some apparel, placing garments on hangers. The best example of floor ready could be IKEA. Their unique and innovative supply chain leads to a whole new definition of what floor ready can mean. Fifth, ticketing and marking. It refers to affixing prices and identification label to the merchandise. It is more efficient for a retailer to perform these activities at a distribution center than in its stores. Next, preparing to ship merchandise to a store. At the beginning of the day, the computer system in the distribution center generates a list of items to be shipped to each store on that day. For each item, a pick ticket and shipping label is generated, so forklift driver goes to the storage area, pick up the number of cartons indicated on the pick ticket. In some distribution and fulfillment centers, these functions are performed by robots. Finally, shipping merchandise to stores. The center uses sophisticated routing and scheduling computer systems that consider the location of stores, road conditions, and transportation operating constraints to develop the most efficient route possible. So these are all 7 activities that distribution centers perform. In this part, I'm going to review some of the various issues and considerations that currently affect supply chain decisions, including outsourcing options and defining the type of supply chain to use. To streamline their operations and make more productive use of their assets and personnel, some retailers outsource supply chain functions because it is efficient at performing individual activities or all the supply chain activities. The primary benefit of outsourcing is that the independent firms can perform the activity at a lower cost and or more efficiently than the retailer. However, when retailers outsource a supply chain activity, they can no longer develop a competitive advantage based on the performance of this activity. Pull and push supply chain. A pull supply chain is in which requests for merchandise are generated at the store level on the basis of sales data captured by POS terminals. A push supply chain is that merchandise is allocated to stores based on forecasted demand. In a pull supply chain, there is less likelihood of being overstocked or out of stock because the store requested for merchandise are based on customer demand. A pull approach increases inventory turnover and is more responsive to changes in customer demand. A pull approach is generally more desirable, but it is not the most effective in all situations. First, a pull approach requires a more costly and sophisticated information system to support it. Second, for some merchandise, retailers do not have the flexibility to adjust inventory levels on the basis of demand. Next one is radio frequency identification devices. In support of all pull supply chain, item level RFID can benefit both retailers and vendors. For retailers, RFID provided an accurate, affordable, real-time measure of item inventory levels. Also, another benefit of RFID is to reduce theft. This technology can track products throughout the supply chain and identify their locations at all times. It means it helps reduce theft in transportation, at distribution centers, or in stores. But the main disadvantage of RFID is their high cost. Dropshipping is a system in which retailers receive orders from customers and relay these orders to vendors. The vendors then ship the merchandise ordered directly to the customers. Such systems are especially popular among companies that need to ship products made from bulky or heavy materials. Also, dropshipping is more attractive for retailers that do not have distribution centers capable of fulfilling individuals' orders from customers. Next, customer store pickup. Not only shipping orders directly to customers, retailers also can enable them to make a purchase online and then pick up the merchandise in stores. For the successful with buy online, pick up in store option, retailers need to invest in technology that enable order allocation systems to locate every item in stock to fulfill the order in a timely manner. Also, they must be omnichannel retailers that function consistently across channels. Moreover, retailers must equip themselves with the mobile task management technology. This technology is a wireless network and mobile device that receives demand notifications and enables a speedy response. If the retailer can move a product along its supply chain smoothly, effectively, and efficiently to ensure that each order by an individual customer is available in the store on time, it can deliver an outstanding in-store pickup experience, which likely encourages the customer to return to the store in the future as well. Finally, even after customers have taken possession of merchandise, retailers still must make decisions about their supply chains. Reverse supply chain is the process of capturing value from or properly disposing of merchandise returned by customers or stores. There are two reasons more attention is being directed toward reverse supply chain systems are the growth of sales through internet channels and the increasing interest in environmental sustainability. First, the percentage of returned merchandise is much greater for purchases made through the internet channel compared to the store channel. The growth in internet sales is going to significantly increase the number of returns and the cost of processing them through the reverse supply chain. Second, the efficiency of reverse supply chain systems affects environmental sustainability through the reverse supply chain system. When retailers reduce transportation costs by consolidating shipments to store, they can reduce harmful emissions, energy usage, and their cost. So this was the considerations and trends in the design of supply chain. Thank you for listening my presentation.